are back on site, and today I am here with TJ Griffin and Jose Flex Rios. Two really dope individuals. They started the Creative Hope Studio, which is something that I thought was one of the most amazing ideas I've ever heard of as a startup business.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, it was. First off, it's called Creative Hope Studios, but that's one of the most creative shits I've ever heard in my life. Like,
Thank you, appreciate that.
And we'll get into it a lot more, but quickly, what Creative Hope Studios is, y'all are going to juvenile prisons and setting up studios. Like, you convince the powers that be to let you come in there, set up studios, and as a productive way for these kids to spend their time, right?
In a short span, yeah. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
But it's not only juvenile detention centers, placement centers, foster care units,
Dope.
wraparound programs, things like that. So.
How many studios have y'all built thus far?
Man, 17? Close
Yes.
to 20. Probably pushing 20.
Between like 15 and 20. We actually got to count them.
And these are like, they got the monitors and everything, like speakers.
Everything.
Break it down.
A fully functional studio. It's basically
Like when I was recording with you.
No, it's when you was recording, but way better. So basically, what you get is you get two dual monitors. It's all ran by Apple product.
Okay.
You get your studio monitors, your stands, your keyboard, your mouse, your mics. You get an electric guitar.
So they playing instruments and everything.
Yeah. You get a 49 keyboard that controls all the sounds inside the actual system. Comes with a bunch of structure and training. You get a bunch of different programs, editing softwares for like Adobe Photoshop, Pro, things of that nature.
So are you teaching them how to produce?
Yes. Well, not produce. We trained them. Well, I trained them on how to utilize the actual equipment so that way they can use it without us. So basically, I train them on how to record vocals and I give them little small trainings on mixing and mastering, things like that they can actually run the full equipment for sessions, for therapy sessions, for spoken word, for podcasting, for everything.
That's so fire. I remember when, like, we don't talk all the time. I know both of you. We don't talk all the time. But when y'all came up with this idea and it came on my timeline, I was like, yo, that's so fucking genius. I was like, yo, that's crazy, because I worked in the juvenile system for 10 years. I did. And
we worked together for a little bit.
Me and TJ worked together. And I can see this being so beneficial to so many kids, because they don't understand that the culture that we come from it's bigger than just music. You know what I mean? And y'all know that.
So much bigger.
And the influence that it has, and y'all recognize that, and to put it into the system across the country. This isn't local. Y'all are going everywhere.
Yeah, we in 5 states. We in Florida, Michigan.
I be hating when y'all
Tennessee.
be taking pictures by the pools. And like,
it's a beautiful thing,
Texas,
man.
Michigan.
It's a lot of gratitude, a lot of gratitude on them trips to be sitting somewhere at a nice hotel or on a beach and realizing the culture puts you there, like the culture and doing work for the youth. But this culture can change your life. You can do so much with it besides just rap on a mic or scratch on the turntable or make a beat.
how long does it take y'all to put these studios in? Like is that a one-day project? You build a studio, or does it take a couple of days?
2 days. We go one day, we build it. The second day, we train the staff. So
and then you just move. So you build it, and then you train them, and then you move on. And then do you ever? How's that work? Do you touch back with them?
We hold relationships with them because we give them back end support. So if they're having any problems, any questions, any concerns, they can give us a call and we'll help them via Zoom or whatever it might be.
That's so fine.
And we also go back and do master classes as well.
So let's talk about where you come from. Like, y'all got this business, and we're gonna talk about this throughout the show. Okay. But I want to talk about where does TJ and Flex come from? TJ and Flex were who before they started this? Because you don't come up with some creative genius plan like this without having some missteps first.
Let me go first and press.
You go ahead.
First of all, I think we all come up with creative genius shit all the time, but we have mindsets to think that it's just not feasible. You're just not capable. You're just not smart enough. You just not got enough bread. But so many people have these dope ideas. Mm-hmm. Like every day, this idea we knew multiple people have thought of this shit already. Yeah. But who's taking action on it? So I think we all get great ideas. It's just who takes action on it and believes it can be done. So little background, like you said, Lancaster City. Grew up, born and raised. Catholic school. Then 6th grade, straight to hand. Then from hand to McCaskey. Then kicked out of McCaskey to soccer, to ARC, to placement, to the streets. Good family, broken family at an early age. My dad and mom split up, but my dad was in my life. Unlike a lot of my friends, I could call my pops. Yo, I need something. He'd pull up. A lot of my friends didn't have that at all. So I had that element as well. But by the time I'm my teenage years, my stepdad and my mom split up. My mom battled her own issues and addiction, so I was left to the streets and hustle. Academically, don't perform well to this day. Don't read so well. Mathematics is really not so. I'm not so good at these things. And society had told me my whole life that to get something, to be successful, you need this degree or this education. And guys like me that don't perform well academically start to lose belief. Like, well, I'm not going to college. I'm not going to Voltech. I'm not an athlete because I smoke too much weed to be going to go play football. I'm not an athlete. Not good academically. What am I going to do? So like most cats, I'm hip hop, I'm a rap, and I'm gonna hustle until I find my way. And by the grace of God and some decisions and somebody putting a book in my hand to change my mindset, I started to realize that society hasn't found a way. The kids that get C's and D's when they work their hardest, because there's a bunch of us out there that work our freaking hardest and still get a D. And there's no teacher that says, "Yo, you're still amazing." Like there's no honor roll for D kids that tried. You didn't try hard enough. Study more. What the hell you mean? I've been trying my ass off. I don't understand these numbers. So there was no reward for that. So I always believed that, because we struggle in them areas, kids like myself can't make it. So it's rapping, athletics, or the streets. A book changed my life. A book made me realize that for everything I lacked academically, there was something in me that I did phenomenal that society didn't find a way yet to say, that's what it is.
So let me ask you this, and not to cut you off. Do you think that there's a problem in our academic system because every kid that doesn't succeed with the grades, it just constantly seems like they get thrown away in the system, right?
Yeah, this is a big problem.
But you're clearly saying you had trouble and you've still found a way.
Yeah, because I found information that they didn't give me in school.
Mm-hmm.
These books
right.
that people wrote that said, just because you got C's and D's doesn't mean you can't be successful. You can just hire the kids with the A's to do what you can't do. When Robert Kiyosaki said some shit like that in a book, I said, wait. The kid with the D's can hire the kid with the A's, so I can hire all the ones I used to cheat off to work for me?
That's a fact.
And it changed my mindset. When I realized that everything they said I needed in life to be successful, the bank didn't care. The bank didn't care how many felonies I had, where I went to school, where my degree was, when it was time to get a bag from them. I was like, they don't care?
They sure
I don't do good at... And I started to learn this other side of the fence thing through books, through free information.
And let me be clear, I was a college dropout, and I have people with masters on my team. So, yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
So through that, positioning myself and grinding, determination, and flipping the hustle, taking the same shit I lived in the streets and put it on this side of the fence, maintaining a job, grinding different jobs while I'm never meant to work for somebody. I've always been a hustler since a kid, so only thing that ever got me through jobs, and he can relate to this, is always having a side hustle. So all them years at Monos, only reason that, well, first of all, I love kids and youth, but what got me through that is my night work. What I do off the clock, my music grind, my management, my promotions.
You was doing that back then.
Always.
Yeah.
That was always what made me show up every day grinding my job. If I didn't have that,
I didn't back then. You always had that. But I mean, when I was working there, I was just miserable. I was just going home miserable that I had a job.
But then you found out, wait a minute, I can do something else, and that kept you motivated for the job. So that's what kept me always going. So through a bunch of trials and tribulations, music industry, streets, coming up, I finally felt I could be successful as an entrepreneur. I won't talk too long, but the school system, and Gary Vee says this all the time, it fails us as entrepreneurs. There's nothing for us. Now they're leaking some shit in there, some entrepreneurship classes, some financial literacy is finally coming, but there's really not something for us that don't perform well academically, that don't understand all this gobbledygook. I only learned in school through stories. So like history, I could get storytelling. The stories in history in Egypt and all, I could learn that, but anything that had to do with studying, and I couldn't get it.
And every kid
learns differently. So I think the school system, is failing a lot of kids like myself, not to mention it's archaic in the way we teach our kids, and it's to make employees. And there's nothing wrong with being an employee. If you're doing what you love to do, that is success. Yeah. But 9 out of 10 employees, 8 out of 10 of them ain't happy. Yeah. And the school system designed to make you an employee. That's it. That's all it's designed to do.
I stopped posting about that employee stuff because a lot of people was taking offense.
They do. And once you become an entrepreneur, you do get kind of rude without trying to be rude, but you believe in it so much. You're like, yo, I used to hate myself 2 in the morning. I hated the work, but this is the way.
Sometimes
But then
you just need that switch.
I had to
You just need
stop.
that switch.
Yeah, because everybody's just not there, and some people are going to these jobs because they have to.
yeah, and to
you
take
know?
care of their families.
Yeah.
But success ain't the bag. Success is really doing what you love to do. So getting up and going to that job is your passion. You're fulfilling. You're doing what you love to do, serve kids or be a teacher. That's success.
Yeah.
So don't get our entrepreneurship message mixed up because we still believe in that.
And don't think entrepreneurship is easy. Like, it's not.
Far from easy. Way hard.
It's harder than your job.
Why do you think more people have a job?
That's a fact.
It's the content. It's being content, and then when you're content, you end up in a routine. And once you end up in that routine, it's so hard for you to get out of that routine. You just go to work, you come home, you pay your bills, you go to home. You know what I mean? It's just the same thing back and forth.
Remember Fat Joe said that about some of his artists from back in the day. He said they're miserably content.
Miserably content. And that's exactly what it is.
Just enough paper coming in, but you still just miserable and not feeling it and not grinding and not going to the next level. Yeah, miserably content.
I dig it.
Well, I'm like, I took up a lot of that space. So please share. Please share. I talk too much. Please share.
Conversation.
That's TJ. It's like that all the time. It don't matter.
All the time.
But anyways, yeah, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, Brownsville, Brooklyn.
Shout out to BK.
Yeah, man. I've been in Pennsylvania for, man, I lost count, probably like 18 years, 19 years, maybe going on 20. But I came down to Pennsylvania around that time, 17, 18 years ago. Originally born in Brownsville, Brooklyn, in the streets or whatever the case may be. Went to school, made it to high school, dropped out of high school, was in the streets. My father and mother were together. And my father left at, I was around like 13 years old or something like that. My mother and my father were together for like 26 years. So when they separated, it was pretty crazy because that's all my mother knew. You know what I mean? So my mother had to get on her grind, find jobs, and my father was on his, you separate from a life of 26 years with someone, you bound to lose your own mind. Yeah. That's exactly what happened with my pops. So I ended up being with my mother and having to provide, and ended up in the streets selling drugs and robbing and doing all this other stuff, and ended up having a baby, my daughter, with my daughter's mom. And, I was just in the streets all over the place, bringing drama to the crib, getting locked up, things of that nature. And my mom's like, you got to go.
So, was in the mix.
Yeah, I was bad in the mix.
There was an attempt on the brother's life, and he had to move.
Yeah, I had to move. Someone tried to shoot me in my face while I was with my man. And then I ended up almost killing somebody, and I had to leave off that, and just a whole bunch of stuff.
You was really outside.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was selling drugs and doing all. I mean, I was like 15, 16, 13, somewhere around there. And I was just wild. I was really the only Puerto Rican who can actually walk around Brownsville who people really knew, because I hung around with like all the OGs. But I got into music around that time, like 15 to 16 years old, and started going to the studio to see this one guy touch on this box, which later I found out it was an MPC 500, and I ended up falling in love with music and ended up leaving. I ended up getting in the car with my daughter and coming to Pennsylvania with nothing. I met a girl down here, which is my son's mom, and we kicked it off or whatnot. And around that time is when I needed to leave, so I ended up selling drugs, saving like $6,000, until I need everything before I come down to the Pennsylvania. So I went down with her, ended up having a baby, ended up being with her for 10 years, and ended up homeless with my daughter. Ended up leaving. Yeah. Ended up leaving her.
He at this time I was right around. I'm gonna come off right on this. I was around.
Yeah, he was around
hip hop music. I was around, but not his friend. Mm-mm. But he was producing for a lot of y'all while he's homeless in his car. Y'all didn't know it.
Yeah. Right after me and you started recording, when I was upstairs in my brother's
y'all didn't even know he was sleeping in the car.
I was sleeping in the car.
We went in the attic. In the attic recording, and I was sitting there trying to think while you was talking. Like, I don't even remember who introduced me. I just remember somebody was like, "Yo, you need to get with Flex."
Yeah, man.
And it was. They wasn't lying. Like, he was one of the hottest DV. And at that time, I don't know what's going on in the hip hop game, like locally, but you was by far leaps and bounds above everybody else that I was working with, production wise.
Appreciate
I didn't mean to cut you up. A lot of that time he was producing for a lot of dudes. They didn't know he was homeless.
Yeah, and that was how I was getting my mind away from everything.
Giving away free
beats.
All y'all free beats while we was homeless, and y'all never knew it.
Never.
Yeah, I shot a video to one of his beats. He did not charge me back
not
then.
One. I ain't charged nobody, bro.
Back then.
And I still don't do it. I can count on my hand how many people bought beats off of me in Lancaster. And literally, like maybe 3 people, tops. But I've given all my stuff away because that's the type of person I am. But yeah, I ended up homeless, ended up getting everything back, ended up working at the Crab House for 15 years until I fired my boss 2 years ago. Stressed out,
and
crying. angry every damn day, trying to figure out what was going on. I started the Dream Loud music program, and that started to kick off, and that made me believe that, yo, I can actually do this, because I was always a hustler. I sold everything you can possibly think of. If I got my hands on it, I tried to sell it.
And what was Dream Loud?
Dream Loud was a program that I would take a portable music studio and to different detention centers in Baltimore and teach music production, recording, giving the kids an outlet for self-expression and, you know, things of that nature, and just vibing with the kids, mentoring them. And I started to build that as I was working at the Crab House, and before you know it, I ended up becoming a top music how you call it? Music program provider for the state of Maryland. So
wow.
Yeah, so I ended up getting this big contract, and
high school dropout from Brooklyn, they give 100 G's.
100 G's.
Listen, they
talk about hip hop.
One thing they will not do is stop a hustler.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. I've had like so many people before I was just actually got out here in the business world just shut me down because I didn't have the credentials.
Yeah.
And once I said fuck it, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna go out here and on my. You don't need the credentials. All you need is the grind in you.
The grind creates the credentials.
And the ability to want to learn. Like, I never
Coachable.
step in any room thinking I know it all.
Coachability.
Definitely. That's the reading of the books. That's the listening to positive people, having these positive people around you that are doing the same thing, that want to live a better life and want to be successful just like you. You get yourself around these people that don't got nothing, that just want to talk. You end up being one of them. You end up going right with them, working
right
yourself
back
backwards.
to it really quickly.
So it sounds to me, and knowing y'all both a little bit, it sounds to me like hip hop influenced you both from an early age. What do you? Can you point out a specific time where you think that you fell in love with hip hop? Shout out to Brown Sugar.
I remember my dad's vinyl, Sugar Hill Gang vinyl. I memorized the whole joint. Probably like 5. But then I seen LL Cool J's on Bad video on Ann Street, 253 South Ann Street in the living room. I seen this dude with his shirt off, yelling, screaming, "I'm gonna crush you like a." Yo, I was just like. Cause I was more Michael Jackson, Billie Jean at that time, but I seen LL on Bad, and I was like it gives me goosebumps to this day. Like that something happened that day. Then through growing up in the inner city and then going to school, I quickly tapped into this is my way out because school's not it. Everything they're telling me is going to make it, I know I can't do.
Right.
So I got to make this rap thing somehow, and that was my only hope. But then I was out here in Lancaster with cats that were dumb nice, like Quarterback, and cats that were dumb. There was only very few of us back then, like very few.
That was trying to.
But they were dumb nice. That was my only hope. But I never even put the work in that they were doing. Like, I was never serious enough.
Yeah.
Like, they was really doing it, cutting albums and doing things, and I was smoking blunts and doing rap ciphers.
Which means probably that wasn't your thing, because
No.
the TJ I know is a hustler, and when you want something, you go after it. So that probably wasn't your thing.
Yep. It wasn't supposed to be my realm. I wasn't supposed to be that guy.
I'd be something in music, though.
Yeah,
It's
for
just
sure.
like me out working and producing for people and trying to get albums together and nice songs together with different artists, but sometimes your focus and your drive and your ambition is a lot stronger than the artist that you deal with, and that's just, it ain't their fault. It's just, it is what it is. So then you have to move on, and I came to a point in my life with music, and I still record artists and produce for them, and I love to do that. But my main goal isn't to produce for artists to put my dream in their hands to see if it goes.
Right.
So I learned that this is something that can't happen because I can't find anybody to be in that same realm that I'm in, that same go-getting aspect. So I had to switch to try to get other stuff. So that's when I started producing for like Netflix and Hulu and things like that, because I realized that I need to be in control of my dream. I need to be in control of how I move and how fast I move. That's basically how I learned everything. Everything that I know today is because someone else couldn't do it for me, or they took too long to do it.
Did you teach yourself how to
Everything.
produce?
Every last thing that I know to this day is because someone else couldn't do it for me, and they took too long and they slouched on me.
And that takes some sort of grind, because I did music, and there was a time when I couldn't find producers.
Yep.
So I was like, I'm gonna make these beats.
Yep.
And I was terrible at it. Like, I knew what beats I wanted to
Them
hear.
beats was dildo. I never heard their beats. I never heard their beats.
I
just play it.
I was sitting there like, yo, it wasn't pretty. They were doo-doo for sure.
They were giving you no inspiration.
I was like, I can't write this. I can't get jiggy with this shit. But for you to be able to teach yourself, that just shows that your level, like that was your it.
Yeah.
And because like with this, like what I'm doing, I had no formal training. I learned along the way, and that's what you must have did in producing
All the time.
and
did it.
and that must be what y'all did with Creative Hope Studios, because there's nothing like it that I've ever heard of.
It's exactly what happened. And even to go back on that, if you think about, like, this is like my brother, my closest friend, and it'll be like that, to the day I die. But when we first met each other, if you would have said, "Yo, in 10 years, this is what y'all gonna do. You're gonna be," we'd have been like, I don't even know this nigga. So it's crazy how the universe works and how the culture, because the culture put it us. I brought Armageddon down here to do feature work because he had a lot of Terror Squad fans here to meet in person to do features to get a bag, to make money. I was the middleman, wasn't a manager. He asked me to manage him that weekend. That weekend's when I met him because I bought a rapper had paid for a verse. Boss Status.
Shout out Boss
Had paid for a verse. Shout out to Boss, dope MC. He bought a verse with Getty.
From here?
Yeah.
Boss, yeah.
This is 10 years ago.
No, you've heard Boss Status before.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
No disrespect. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. And anyway, we did a feature and it's at his house because he's the producer. Sat in the house. Little did they know, everyone I'm on up to that day with Armageddon thinks me and him is mad tight, and that's why I had just met him that day. I've been talking to him on MySpace for weeks. But I just met him that day. But I was rolling up, getting bread from people like this. You manage him? I'm like, nah. Before you know, he starts saying yeah. But anyway, that night he shows up to our after party we have on his own, just to shake hands. Doesn't really. I talked to him again. It's the Flex, the producer from earlier. I don't see him to about 3 years later. Sean, we meet Sean. Rest in peace, Sean Williams. Shyz is one of the dopest artists ever in Lancaster City. Rest in peace. Well, he was a kid in Monos working with him. He came out, started doing good. I started working with him. He went back to the streets. Pulled it. Can't work with you when you're in the streets, not doing your business. It was part of our deal. He came out of jail, started doing good again. Came back. So, I'm giving her a shot. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but let's start going to the gym. He started going to the gym, working out. I'm keeping his mind right. I see Flex in there. I'm like, that's the dude that used to produce. Yo, Flex, remember me? Yo, what's up? So this is Sean. Can you, yo? Them two was like, let's try it. We ended up getting a studio together for Sean. We ended up buying a studio, a little studio space at Mulberry Art Studio. A couple people had labs there, just for Sean and Nibie, and Sean the Streets.
Shit was dope. Matter of fact, shout
Incredible.
out to Nibie too. Nibie about to do. I think she's about to do our. Is she doing our next show? Yeah, we got her.
Good.
We just booked her.
Good. She's
Shout
incredible.
out to Nibie.
Yeah. So we had a studio for both of them, and then Sean went back to the streets, and that just went under. But who would have never known that we would have. Be doing this.
I want to say a quick rest in peace to Sean. A lot of the people who might not know who Shyz is, we both worked with him.
Yeah.
When we were both working at Monos. I actually, and I don't want to say I had any credit in how dope he was. He was dope, but I taught him how to count bars. I remember one night we sat up late, and I taught him how to count bars when we was. So
all he could do was spit.
Yeah, he was just a rapper. Like he was just a rapper, but he had bars, and that really helped.
Bars. I travel everywhere. I've seen thousands and thousands of rappers spit in my ear, from kids and from Blocked Up to my years of management. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Shizzy was something different. He was something different,
and he was dope back then.
Yeah, he was special, and I told him that, and I loved him, and he knew I loved him, and rest in peace, brother.
I got a whole hard drive with all old Shyz songs.
We got some plans for Shyz. We said, God willing, things go the way they want to go. He ain't forgotten about.
Not at all.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to hear that. So let's get into the more of the hip hop thing. What do y'all think? We are like the first generation to see hip hop actually get old. Like it's growing up now. There's old MCs. Do you like the adult contemporary hip hop? I'll say like the 40 and up. For me, it's super dope to see the guys that we grow up still doing it at a high level.
Super dope. Super dope.
That's crazy because it was never really done like this.
we never saw it because we were the first generation. Like there were no old rappers when we was kids.
No, and then once you got a little older, you were corny. Like you fell off, and
little old rappers, but
they weren't relevant.
They weren't relevant. Yeah, they weren't getting the recognition.
Like now we seeing like 50-year-old.
Jay-Z's name is still relevant within the culture. Nas is still relevant within the culture.
Pusha T, Rick Ross. These dudes are all 43, 45, 40. Like these are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which makes it now feasible for the next generation of artists to continue to eat at that age, like rock and roll, you know?
Yeah.
But we're also a big part of that. That part gets left out of that story. The reason why the Jays and the Nas's can continue at this level is because of the niggas in our age that keep pushing it, keep watching the videos, and helping that relevancy for the kids to pay attention. So we play a big part in their longevity, Nas and Jay, and we really do. We really do.
And I think that's
just playing Reasonable Doubt.
In the parking lot, yeah.
That's what I played.
That's because we grew up with hip hop.
Yeah.
Like there was no when we was kids. There was no 50-year-old hip hop fans. Now there is.
Yeah.
And I think that helps us relate more to the youth because there's that bridge. Like we don't necessarily like everything they like, but we like some of it because we understand hip hop. You know what I mean? And what do y'all think? Do you think there's like what do you think about the gap that divides our generation and the youth, where they calling us the OGs? Do you respect that title? Do you embrace being the OGs of the culture?
I do.
Yeah.
I enjoy it actually. I enjoyed it. Being able to see this whole transition in hip hop because we are students of hip hop and we love hip hop. So it's like our kid in some sort. We want to see it grow. So I love all the music. You know what I mean? The old from the old music to the new music. My playlist plays everything, so
yeah.
I was back to that question. I think the kids now within the culture have saturated that word OG. Now it's you just an old head, you OG. So I guess it's still. I think it's still. I think it could be. I think they mean it respectfully.
OG used to mean something. Now it seems like you just saying that because I'm old.
Yeah, you can't just. So everybody that's older they call OG now, but I think it took away some of the power of what that meant. But hey, it is what it is. I was part of that problem in the Soulja Boy era. I was like, these kids are killing hip hop and it's garbage and everything's done and I had to grow up a little bit myself and realize, wait a minute. And I love the music now. I love the new artists. I love the content. I love the vibes. Of course, I'm a fan of MCing and lyricism, so I'm always going to run with the Coles and the Kendricks. But I love the music and culture. It's the voice of the kids, so it's the voice of the youth.
I'm gonna ask you two questions, and they're both Mount Rushmore questions. Your Mount Rushmore of right now in hip hop. Who would you put on it? TJ, I'm gonna ask you first.
That top 5 question changes a lot for me. So today,
right now, like
today,
not all time, not ever. Right now, active in the game.
Oh, okay. You say active in the game, so right now. So even though Kendrick hasn't put nothing out in a while, I can put he's on there.
He's about to drop in a week or two. So
him and Cole on there. I got 3 more. Or is it 4? 2 more. So him and Cole. Let me get some new cats on there. I like Fabio.
Fabio's dope.
Yeah, but I like him. He's new.
Love is new out.
Who else do I like that's really, really new?
You like Lil Baby?
I love Lil Baby. He should go on there. I like the Baby. I'll take that. I'll put Lil Baby on there. That's right now. That is not my top 4, my top 5.
Right
That's right now. Please don't get that confused.
I would say Drake because I listen to Drake. I would say Pusha T. I would say Lil Baby. And then if I had to really put a woman up on there, I would probably say Bia.
I like Bia. Bia's my girl. I like Bia.
I'm not gonna lie. I haven't heard Bia till she dropped this.
Those are the people.
Her new joint with Cole. I'm like,
yeah.
whoa.
Those are the people I listen to.
I wasn't up on her before that.
I listen to them now. If I really had to sit, but definitely Lil Baby. You know what I mean?
Lil Baby's killing it.
Yeah.
He's a dope artist.
Lil Baby.
Really is a dope artist.
You got so many people that are super dope right now.
Now I'm gonna ask your Mount Rushmore of all time.
It's so hard to. It's the normal. It's Pac, Biggs, Jay, and Nas. It's the normal. There's the G Raps, there's the Rakims, there's the M's.
Does anybody ever take the play? And I'm going to ask you this because I started questioning this myself now that people got so much catalog. Because let me put it to you like this: if DMX dies after his second album, we're looking at DMX like Biggie,
Possibly.
or close to that vein, right?
Yeah, possibly.
So Biggie could have dropped Trash after Life Ever Done, like possible. He could have dropped.
People that know him would say that it's impossible.
He could have dropped Great Depression, and then we would have been like, and then would he still be? Because Biggie gave us two classics, does he really still belong? Because we all know, like, nobody just. There's no rapper in the game that dropped nothing but classics.
Yeah.
I think he was so hot at that time when he passed.
That's why.
I think he was so hot, and he changed the game with his style and his delivery and the music he was putting out and the respect that he had and like the whole how do you call it? The thing that he put into hip hop was great, and I think that's why you would put him up there with them, because at that time there wasn't really nobody who was doing exactly what he was doing and had that big stardom at that time. So even those two albums was like holy. Like,
and I've had that feeling before.
me too, of course.
Like, Big, you look at his other catalogs.
Yeah.
But then you just go back by yourself, roll up, have a drink, and listen to Big for a couple of hours.
Yeah, he was.
When you do that. When I do that, I'm like, okay. I mean, the flow,
everything.
It's
I just skip over everything with Bone Thugs on.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like,
but that Bone Thugs versus was
that shit
classic.
was whack.
but I agree to that point.
All
Like,
the
Big,
dangers, that's
I don't even listen to that shit.
Big was just a better rapper than everybody at that time.
Yeah, I can agree.
But I just think, here's how I look at Big. I look at Big like he's the Bo Jackson of rap. Like, Bo Jackson played for 4.5 seasons in football. In those 4.5 seasons, we looked at Bo Jackson like he was the greatest thing that ever touched.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's possible,
But-
yeah, definitely.
But he never became Barry Sanders or these people because his career got cut short. That's how I look at Big.
Yeah.
And I don't that's not me taking. So let me ask you this: Big and Pac excluded, who's your Mount Rushmore all the time? Because I think our generation looks at Big and Pac very favorably, and they didn't.
So Jay and Nas, there's no doubt about it. Then I got to go over to the West Coast. Might have to put O'Shea on there. I went to put Cube on there. Even though he was inspired by Ice, who's a friend of mine, Cube did something different when he wrote that verses.
Yeah, Cube was dope.
And the way he did it and what he's transitioned to, like he had White Cave Bitch, and now he does PG. Like Cube is one of the illest hustlers of all time.
For sure.
So I say Cube, Jay, Nas. Let me pick somebody from down south. Now we got
3 Stacks, Scarface,
probably. I put Face up there before Stacks.
Weezy.
Not lyrically, but Weezy's another one. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Wayne deserves it. Wayne deserves to be on that
I'm
mountain,
not
too.
mad at Weezy.
You put a mic down in front of any of the guys we just met. The guys of Jay, you put a mic down between that little dude.
First off, Weezy go grab it first.
That little dude. Even that dude's gonna be like, oh, okay, let's sit back for a moment. So yeah, he helped me, Wayne. I put Wayne on there. So we got Cube, Wayne,
Jay and
Nas,
Nas.
Jay.
And that's a tough 4.
I would say Jay. I would say Nas, obviously. I would put Fat Joe up there,
Nice to give
Crack.
Joe his credit.
and I would put
Nice to give Joe his credit because of Boricua. Nice.
Yeah, I would put Lil Wayne. Not only that, I mean, come on,
He
now.
deserves it.
He deserves it. Like if someone sit here and say, "Oh, he raps," yeah, but look at the years he's put into this.
I think
Albums.
Crack.
Look at the
Album,
album after
hit
album
record,
that
I
he
hit
put-
think
record.
Crack
that-
does
you know?
not get his just. Like, I personally wouldn't have put him in my Mount Rushmore, but I think he does not get nearly enough credit as he's
Not
doing.
at all.
Yeah.
His longevity and the fact that he's been able to create hits in every generation.
Yeah.
There ain't too many people like him.
Yeah, it's
I don't,
different.
there's none.
There ain't
It's
too many
different.
people.
You always go back to L, but L in the last 10 years, has that charted.
I don't think there's another rapper outside of maybe Rick Ross that has an A&R ear
Yup.
like
I love
Crack.
Rick Ross, man. Rick
Like,
Ross is
their
out.
ear for just making great music is just different. And I would say Drake too, but Drake got a team with him. I mean, I think Crack and Rose, I think they literally picked their tracks themselves.
Yeah.
And
And a lot of kids don't even know Terror Squad's history. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. A lot of cats don't even know Terror Squad's history and the work they put in and the hell they round on the industry, and the industry didn't mess with them boys. Crack, like the very well respected MC to this day. and they don't know the history. They don't know the history.
So let's get back into Creative Hope Studios. Let's talk about like the journey from the beginning to where you're at now. The beginning wasn't that long ago. How long have you been a company?
It was
almost
February 1 year.
Almost a year.
So a year and a couple months.
Yeah, because I remember y'all started right after I started this company. I was like, I'm talking a month or two. So what has been the journey? Like y'all are in a good place now. Y'all have obviously built studios in multiple states now, but was it always just peachy keen?
Nah, and it's never.
It's never peachy.
So let him start on how we started.
So, back to that contract, that Baltimore contract they gave me. I quit my job that same day. I knew that the 17th was the day that I was going to be done with my job because that following week.
It was March 17th.
March 17th. I knew that following week, I'm going to start my program, start going to Baltimore. So I quit the 17th. The 18th, early in the morning, I get emails and calls saying that they're closing down all of the facilities, everything, every last bit of the facilities.
The day after you quit your job?
Yeah. Literally, bro. Literally the day after.
Panic mode.
What? Panic mode. I was like, oh, man, like, what the fuck am I going to do? And, things just started rolling, and me and TJ is sitting there after like a month or so, and we're like, man, what are we going to do?
He convinces me to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, convinces me to buy an Xbox. I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta play Call of Duty, you gotta play Warzone, you're going to love it. So I made him buy an Xbox. So we're playing Xbox.
I bought a video game during the pandemic, too. I had to get back to it.
So we decided, we were sitting there, and I was like, yo, we need to put our businesses together and figure it out. So we just started chatting while we were playing Warzone, and TJ came up with the name the next day. The following couple days, we ended up LLC and just started moving. And like 2 months, 3 months later, we ended up getting our first sale.
Yeah, which was crazy.
Everything together. I mean,
so we took the Dream Loud program, which was a portable recording studio program that he ran into juvenile detentions, and my Vision program, which is a mentorship and program workshop on entrepreneurship, hip hop culture, gang culture, staff trainings, and we put them both together. Yeah. So normally they pay me to come run programs with kids or train staff, and they pay him to come run programs with kids. So what we did is we took both our programs together, and now we deliver them a fully functional recording studio in creative space, and then empower and train the staff to do what they paid us to do, which saves them tons of money and then gives them the recording studio to utilize with the kids on their own, not depending on people like us or outside resources. And it gives them a culturally relevant spot to have real conversation with kids of our culture where they feel comfortable talking about some shit because they're in that space. We have kids in the studio spaces that whisper to their staff, "It's the first time we feel like I'm not locked up," because they're in our studio spaces. So it gives them that culture. And then we also have a career exploration component to it where kids get to do audio engineering, audio production, film editing, videography, logo design, all within that space. So there's a lot of kids like me that only believed in the trap game or the rap game, but we're good creatives. So that's why we write rhymes. That's what. But now, digital audio production, engineering, podcasting, video editing, logo editing, and animation.
That's so dope that y'all offer them so different, many ways to be creative.
Yeah, and you think about it now, like with online and the internet, that's where everything's at. So media in general, and trying to teach these kids how to produce their own shows and how to make their own logos and designs and record their own podcasts. It's just.
And are y'all trying to guide any of these kids' careers?
No. So we made a conscious decision before we signed our LLC paperwork, especially from me being in management and him being in producers, that we're not going to try to do anything business-wise with any kids we find. And many people,
I'm playing.
Many people have said that to us. Even mentors we work with have said, "Do this, do this, do that." And we've decided not to. It doesn't mean that we won't. If somebody's dope, share it, send it. We've sent one guy to a lot of places where Mass Appeal Records. I know you're a big fan of Nas, has reached out to us and loved some of the stuff we're doing due to hearing a kid. So we want to help the kids, but we're not going to sign them. He puts a bunch of beats in every studio publishing free for them to utilize as they want. So we refuse to sign or do anything of that nature to have any financial.
Have access to some of your production too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, every studio space gets.
Every studio space gets like 30 beats for me that they can.
Are they all different ones, or you?
All the same. What are you talking about?
From each,
From each one is all the same. It's about 30 or 40 of the same ones.
Okay.
But my plan is to start adding stuff into these folders. You know what I mean?
They have production. They have everything right there.
Everything.
That's so dope.
Industry standard stuff too.
And some you'll find we're the leaders in the field. No one else is doing this in the United States of America at this level. People do put studios together, but they don't come with professional level music industry people like we both are, like for real, resume wise, for real, and juvenile the juvenile justice credibility. So there's program structure. It's incentive based. So we train the staff. The kids need to earn their way into it. And some people within the culture get mad at me for that, but it's just what it is. The behavior that's keeping them in these positions, they have to learn to change it. You have to learn not to flip out so much. You need to learn to keep your mouth shut, to play the game, to position yourself sometimes. And the way to do that is to have something incentive.
Yeah.
When you have a kid that comes from nothing, that got nothing at home, and he's in this prison, there's no incentive. I'm not doing good in school. I don't care if I'm going home. F this staff. But now there's a recording studio that is kept at a high level that when they open the door, it lights up and it's dope. And
I would have loved to have that studio in our facilities when we was working with kids.
Absolutely.
Where I could be like, oh, your ass ain't getting in the studio. Like, keep backing up. You won't get in that studio. I bet. Say one more word. Say one more word.
So it helps curve behaviors for the harder to reach kids. Gives them something to look forward to.
And also brings culture into the facility that doesn't have culture, or a very small percentage of culture.
In juvenile justice, we strip culture of kids. You used to do it. As soon as kids walk in the facility, you say you got to pull your pants up. You can't wear them that way no more. You need to not give that kind of handshake. It's a street handshake. No, your name's not T-Money. Your name's Tyrone. Your name's not Shyz. It's Sean. Speak your right name in here. Young men don't act that way. You a Muslim? If you're not a Muslim, you got to prove better shave that beard. What's over the hair? So this is what we do at everywhere in the United States of America as the kid walks in the system. Now, we do that because there's negative aspects to that. Young men should not have their drawers showing so your grandmama can see it. But when we strip them of all these things to try to give them information, we strip them of culture. The way he rocks his pants is culture. You're taking his culture. The way he rocks his hair is culture. His language is culture. So we take this from him. Then we say, this is the educational system you need, which they already don't buy into, because I didn't buy into the shit. And this is the DNA you need. And this is what will make you successful. Y'all don't understand nothing. Y'all don't come where I come from. And I use nothing culturally relevant here. F your system. I'll pull up my pants while you're here. When you leave, I'll pull them back down. Right. So now we bring a space in there where it's actually their culture. So a staff member like you can have a real meaningful relationship with a kid.
There's probably staff in there working on y'all stuff.
We got stories. Man, we got stories, man.
Staff in there dropping their mix.
We put a studio, I'm not going to say where, in a different state. In a different state. In a different state. It was his hood. It was his hood. This city was hood. And yo, they told us, when they said, yo, they called us at night at 10 o'clock at night. We in the studio, yo. Yeah, they making mixtapes. So we helped them.
I mean, I would listen. If you gotta go to work every day, you might as well be able to work on your mixtape. I'm not mad at it. Right. What do y'all think? I want a moment of transparency. No, I'm not gonna say if. This program that y'all have is going to produce some stars.
Yeah.
When you see them, are you going to think that you missed out on a business opportunity, or are you just going to be proud of what your program produced?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll let him go.
I mean, we spoke, like TJ said in the beginning, we spoke about the situation, and we said we didn't want anything to do with any artists that make it in the game or whatever the case may be. We would prefer to like share and do things of that nature with them and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that we would feel bad at all. We don't. It's not in our mind to make money or be profitable off of these kids.
For talent.
The
reward, and I say it all the time to people. Within the next 12 to 24 months, a kid's going to make it within the industry, and it's going to be his first exposure to a recruiter who's going to be in this possibly your facility. So I do talk that because I know what's going to happen. Yeah. The hustler in me will always think for a second, but it's going to be a split second because we don't want any parts of that. The reward will be, yo, that kid, the first time that kid ever rapped on the mic was in our studio in a prison that would have never been there if it wasn't for us. Yeah. That's the reward. God will take care of the rest.
Yeah. And some people ain't going to believe you, but I definitely believe both of y'all because I've grown into that. Like, I wanted to be the guy in front of the camera. I wanted to be the rapper. I wanted to be the actor. Yeah. I've tried all of this stuff. But now I have no desire to really be that. I just want to be the guy who creates the platform.
I mean, me too. And I want no parts of that.
And I get more fulfillment that way too.
We've been through that situation with dealing with artists, and we in control of our own dreams and our own future right now. When you start bringing artists, me personally, when you start bringing artists into the situation,
it's a whole other monster. And if we could get one message across, man, is that me and him live this we have a dream business, like it's a dream. It looks great because we're always flying around and stuff, but the grind is ill.
Crazy.
Like it's ill. Like, trust me, your 40 hours of work week is nothing to us. So don't think this is sweet. And it's a lot of struggle, a lot of stress. But at the end of the day, hip hop culture put us in a position. We took advantage of the culture because it's supposed to change our lives and help change other people's lives. Yeah. And to wake up and get paid to travel. Like, they pay us to go there. They pay for the flights. They pay for the food. They pay for the hotels. They pay for our time. And it's valuable time. And the credibility we bring to the table is, I worked some years in juvenile justice like you. And I'm a former juvenile detention kid and street hustler. That's my fucking resume.
That's it.
And they pay me to train judges. They pay him to train staff. They pay me to train POs. Like, for real, they pay me. And I'm not saying this to big myself up. I don't need to big myself up. The whole shit of my life is the people playing effect because there's somebody out there that don't think they're worth shit. Yo, they pay me to talk about rapper. They pay me hundreds of dollars an hour. My only history is I know about hip hop. And then I wasn't scared enough to call people, say, hey, I know about hip hop. And this is why I know about it. And if you just listen to me for a second, and 100 people shut the door, and then one person at a major level said, I want to learn.
Yeah, it's education, yo.
So a lot of times we don't believe that we have all this information we do.
Both of you, did you ever have imposter syndrome in
all the time?
Rooms that you're stepping?
Dude, I have it all the time to this day.
Even now?
Yeah.
To this day.
Because I deal with that. So I didn't want to be alone. So I'm glad.
Nah, bro.
Nah.
Like there's certain rooms where I'm like, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah. And then sometimes you question yourself. Like, did I fake it? Did I hustle? Did I? That's real imposter syndrome. Did I take advantage to get? And then I had to look at my reminders. This is my reminder for imposter syndrome.
Explain the paper plane effect.
That's y'all probably. I don't know if y'all can see that. Zoom up on this or not. But it's a paper plane. And the shadow underneath the paper plane is a jet. So in them rooms, sometimes I don't believe I'm supposed to be there. Then I realize that what I believe in myself is who I am. So the paper plane believes it's a jet. The shadow changes. And when the shadow changes, that's who you become, who you are. So in them rooms, sometimes we forget, nah, wait a minute. A lot of these people couldn't live one day in your life. They don't understand. Right. Like, you have information they don't even understand. Your value is way up. And sometimes I got to remind myself in them rooms, because most of the rooms I'm in are highly educated, successful people, not of my culture. Yeah. And we walk in there like this. Everywhere we go, we really do. Like, and
I do too. I don't like getting dressed up, and I like being myself when I'm presenting myself.
And you get to do that because you own your business and your brand.
Right.
And if not for the culture and us owning our business, we couldn't do that. Yeah, I got to wear, the dress code. But when you're your own boss, you can decide on them things. It doesn't mean that we might get doors shut on us more.
But there has to come a point where you're just like, nah, like, I earned this.
Yeah.
Like, I belong here. Yeah.
I sit there every day and I think about it. I earned this. I earned all of that.
And that's not arrogant. That's like, if you put in the work, then you earn this. Like, it's not. I don't think, like, and I used to think that, like, because I'm one of them people that have dealt with people saying that, oh, he thinks he's this and that. Mm-hmm. He's arrogant. But
as you grow, man,
I really feel like if I worked for it, like, I'm not arrogant about shit that I was born with. I'm arrogant about the shit I worked for.
I'm not arrogant about the lottery. I won the lottery. I grinded. I worked.
And a lot of the time, some of the people that are like that say, he's stuck up with a, they don't understand the process. They don't know what you had to go through in order to get there. Like, there's nights where you cry. There's nights where you can't go to sleep. There's days where you work. You know what I mean? So, like, you haven't got to that level yet, so you don't really understand that it actually changes.
Absolutely does.
I don't want to put it as if money's no, the process of being successful changes you. Yeah. It just changes you in general. You do change. Yeah, I am changing because I'm growing, because I'm not that same dude. I'm not that same dude that didn't do nothing, that haven't been in these rooms, that doesn't see my potential. So yeah, I'm gonna act a little bit stuck up on I don't mean to do it, but I've been through so much shit trying to be in this position that it's me now.
I think
you gotta almost be like that.
Jay said it best. He said, "I didn't work this hard to stay the same."
Nah,
you don't. Like, you don't work, because you work your way into these rooms and to a certain level where you're like, I'm not doing that shit no more. I can't,
because you know where that gets you.
Yeah. Right, anybody that says he changed is a seed that doesn't like to see you grow, because all of us are seeds and we're supposed to change and grow consistently. And everybody can't come with you. and the culture is big on our day ones. Well, most of the people that are successful don't have many day ones around. You're lucky if you got one or two. If that, I haven't, I don't have. I have. It's just
most of my
as you grow, it changes.
A lot of them day ones. Some of them is just on like, yo, what up? How you? Like it ain't beef.
Yeah. And as you grow, as you also grow,
we can't kick it because we're not on the same. Yeah.
And it hurts. It hurts too because you have friends and family members that separate, and it gets hurtful. But this is it's part of the journey. It's part of the journey.
Where do you see Creative Hope Studios going in the next 5 years?
We're going to be in all 50 states in the next 12 months.
Fuck 5 years. You said 12 months. Talk your shit.
All 50 states, but that's very small market penetration. That would be like 2% juvenile justice market penetration, like 2% to be in one facility in each state. So that's one of our goals. You said in 2 years?
5. You just said 12 months though.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Yeah, 5 years we're going to be like super saturated everywhere, overwhelmed, or sold the company for a large amount, and is still providing services for kids all over.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because that's a goal too. People don't realize like you create these companies, you build them up, and you build them up to sell them if you're smart in business. Like you don't rock with a business forever. Like
I mean you can.
You can. Yeah. But I've learned from the billionaires and the multimillionaires that I watch, none of them do that. Like they all build it up to it, pop it, and sell it.
So in 5 years we would like to build it to a position where it's profitable enough to sell it. And so it's where it's maintaining its integrity. It's still producing.
Years to retire. That's my plan. I've said it over and over and over again, and I truly believe it.
I feel like I am retired.
Yeah, we are. Yeah,
even though we're grinding and we're working and still got to pay bills and hustle, but I get to wake up when I'm done sleeping every day.
Yeah.
Like I wake up when I'm done sleeping.
And don't ever have to go back because it's different. Like when you working for yourself,
I've had to go back before.
When you have to go back and work for somebody else, you'd be like,
that's why I can. I done had to do that. I done had to quit the jobs and go back, and because the side business blew up too quick. I thought I done made it. I had to go ask for my job back. That hurts. But once you're truly an entrepreneur and you get a real taste of it, it's something in you that it just never leaves. Like you are kind of retired. You wake up.
Yeah, I am kind of retired.
You get to do
retired. I want to be.
Yeah,
it's a little bit more retired than what I am. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. That's my plan, and I know what's gonna happen. There's no doubt in my mind that in 10 years I'm gonna be retired the way I want to be retired. That's just it. Yeah. I got no explanation for it. No ifs, whats. 10 years I'm gonna be retired.
I feel you 100%.
That's it.
And you're gonna get there.
Yeah, man. It is what it is.
Listen, first off, where can they reach y'all? How can anybody who's watching this, how can they reach out and maybe have a studio built wherever they're at?
Well, website, creativehopestudios.com. You can reach out to us there. You can reach out to me on Instagram at im.tjgriffin. At Creative Hope Studios. What's yours?
Mine is Jose at Creative Hope Studios. You also go to all of our Instagram, TikTok. We got a TikTok, Facebook. So you can catch us. You can Google our names and Creative Hope Studios pop up.
If you work in the juvenile justice realm, or you work with at-risk youth in residential treatments, or just even after-school programming, we can provide services for you. We fit under every federal grant possible. Education grants from Title I to APR to OVR, all of that stuff. So a lot of facilities, especially depending on the level of the person we talk to, like, oh my God, we don't have money. It's only because they've been told that they don't have no money. Like when you worked where you worked, it was always just never no money. But that's just what people have been told for so long. Even at the high positions, they don't know that there is tons of money. It's just being accoladed and spent it in ways that they're so used to it. And then when you bring this rap hip hoppity guys in, what here? What?
Everybody don't understand the culture.
No. Well, you don't know what we go through. It's such a great idea. You think we call people and everyone's be like, "Yo, man."
Doors in front of us. Doors in front of us.
I believe it. I believe it.
But it's cool though.
It's cool though.
It's building us.
Listen,
they don't let us in now, but once we're in other doors, they're gonna want us in their door.
I was just about to say that. Y'all better take advantage of Creative Hope Studio now because the price about to go up.
It did.
When the price go up.
The price went up.
Billy,
that's on me asking for the hookup because I'm not gonna call them and put in the plug word.
Really, I mean, like Crack said, yesterday's price from last year to year we doubled.
That is, as you said. So
Doubled.
last year to, and y'all ain't even a year old. Y'all just a year
Just
old.
a year old. It doubled.
So you know what happens next year, right?
Yeah.
Y'all better listen. I'm just telling y'all, get in now because I think this is one of the dopest businesses I've ever heard of. And dopest models.
Thank you, brother.
Super creative. I wish y'all nothing but the best. TJ Griffin, Flex, nothing but success.
Thank you. Appreciate to be on the podcast. Appreciate all the work y'all be doing, and hopefully we'll see y'all again soon.
Sure we will.
All right, peace.